Hey everyone. Today I'll be recording my presentation on uh, what the future may hold for the Benin Bronzes. And so today I'll be going over why you should listen to my proposal instead of anybody else's. So basically, what makes it so special. The methods that will need to be taken in order for us to do what we want to do. What should be done with the Benin Bronzes? So what exactly we're going to do with them, um, the outcome that we want. So essentially, what exactly we want to stem from our actions, and in introductions and conclusions. So, what does the future hold for the Benin Bronzes by David Wu, teachers Mr. Taylor, and this was made on January 20th, 2021. Okay. Before you view my presentation, you may have some questions. One of them may be, what qualifies this kid to speak from an expert's point of view anyway? And the answer to that is quite straightforward, because I am no expert, and I have spent a lot of time gathering information about these certain events and arguments. So throughout these slides, I'll persuade you that the Benin Bronzes belong in the hands of the current leader, or Oba of Benin, Ewuar II. I will provide you with reasoning and evidence taken from the last 3 weeks of studying the Benin Bronzes and their situation. So, speaking from the point of view of someone who has learned so much about these artifacts and the disputations they have brought along, I present my world history proposal. Okay, so why is my proposal different? So, my proposal is divergent to any other proposal because I've developed a solution that can accommodate what seems to be the most prevalent issues with the artifacts. What this essentially means is it restores a part of African history and heritage that has been long overdue, while advising the Oba to put these artifacts into a history museum. So, basically, what this means is we want to continue education about these artifacts, and at the same time, we want to return these artifacts to the Bini because they have been stolen and kept in museums for many years, and it's long overdue, as I said. So, not only does this help the Bini feel like a portion of their heritage has been restored, but it also allows for people to continue to. It also may allow, for people to continue to learn about the objects should the Oba allow the bronzes display. And so, what methods will be used? So, my proposal is also quite simple because it is primarily relocating the Benin Bronzes. The relocation of the objects could be quite easy to do, as they could simply be moved on a plane or another form of transportation. The entire reason for restitution is the shocking fact that museums currently hold over 600,000 displays of African art and items. So, the next step is encouraging the Oba to put the bronzes into a museum because, as Neil McGregor states, a museum can be, open quote, a path to a better understanding of the world, close quote. Contrary to many preconceptions that the Nigerian government would be receiving the artifacts, the Oba would take them instead, as an Oba is a leader of Benin. It is then the Oba's decision to do what he would like to do because the objects originated in Benin and he has rightful command over them. And also, as we've learned from empires like the Dahomey and Oyo and the Songhai, most of Africa was imperialized and discriminated against, and it's about time that most of their belongings were hastily returned. And so, what do we want? So, what exactly are we trying to achieve here? And my outcome is aimed towards fixing the issues of unrest in Benin first. So, that means returning the artifacts as quickly as possible, um, And then after that, we want the OBA to display them in museums to uphold the people's understanding, as Neil MacGregor specifies yet again. What this means is that we want the education about the bronzes to remain, but we want the education about the bronzes to remain, and also want original handcrafted art to be returned. Of the 4,000 artifacts taken from Benin, 700 sit in the British Museum, so the goal is to return as many as possible from said museum. Lastly, many people would be upset that these artifacts were leaving the British museums. Visitors always find themselves educated by these artifacts, not just these artifacts, but lots of artifacts in museums. And so, my counterpoint to how people would protest against the the Benin bronzes leaving the British Museum is these objects were stolen as villages were burned to the ground in Benin, and uh, the Bini were kind of much like the many other empires, like as I mentioned, Sonhei and Oyo. They were kind of they had to watch as the villager, especially the Benin. They had to watch as villages were burned to the ground, and were razed, and their property was basically taken away from them. And so the least that visitors of the British Museum and other museums alike could do is cope with restitution and the fact that these artifacts may continue to be displayed anyway with the OPA's permission, of course. And so lastly, my conclusion. So the Benin bronzes are original Benin property that does not belong in any kind of museum outside of Benin, especially when said property was forcefully taken out of their hands. Nothing is being done, as an unbelievable amount of original African history sits undiscovered in dusty boxes and display cases. And so, it is almost expected for the British Museum to immediately recognize their wrongs and return the Benin bronzes to the OBA. But why is my proposal different? Why exactly should my proposal be accepted? Well, my proposal should be considered for the final round because of how innovative the solution is. My solution finally takes back Benin's long-lost heritage and gives a great chance for the important education and understanding of these artifacts to continue further. Lastly, my solution ensures a cheap way for both of these things to happen, and is clearly the most feasible answer to the complex problem we are all looking to solve. So, thank you for listening to my presentation, and yeah, thank you.